Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of the Monday Market Report, this time for the week ending April 3rd, 2021. I'm your host, Sean, and if you are not familiar with the Monday Market Report, it's real simple. Every Sunday night into Monday morning, I drop one of these videos that highlights some of the most relevant post-1900 modern coins that have sold in the past week. Generally, I'll pull information from eBay, major auction sites like Great Collections, Heritage Auctions, Legend, Stacks Bowers, and we're gonna just talk about it. Is the market, moving in a general specific direction? Are we beginning to see some flat growth, or little to no growth at all, or maybe the market's dropping? That's usually what we talk about in these videos. Now, as you guys are aware, and if you're a regular watcher to these market reports, you'll see that the market just continues to forge forward. I would say that a lot of the prices are, still continuing to hit, higher than expected volumes, and whether or not we're going to see a slowdown trend or perhaps a little bit of a retrace remains to be seen. Obviously, all good things must come to an end. As we, come closer to summer, usually the summertime, it slows down a little bit, only because most folks are indeed taking the season off from coins. And it picks right back up in the fall time. I can tell you this right now. There are certain indices within numismatics that are still continuing to hit strong. I have a sneaky suspicion that we're seeing more people enter the registry game. If you guys aren't familiar with the registry kind of like deal, PCGS and NGC have what they call coin registries. And it's real simple. It's a points-based system. You assemble whatever type of collection you can under a specific genre, type, whatever the case may be. Maybe you like Lincoln sets. Then you'll collect all the Lincoln cents that you possibly can. Some people like to go above and beyond and collect nothing but the finest specimens of those coins. So it's more for bragging rights, but people do pay probably more money than these things are worth, just to, compete in the game of registry set building. So there is going to be a lot of that highlighted and represented in here. And of course, if there's any coins that kind of hit like that investment quality collector grade type arena, I'll let you guys know about that as well. All right, so we have a couple big auctions in April. We have the Legend Auctions Regency 44, if I'm not mistaken. I have it written down somewhere here. But we do have another Regency sale on April 21st. Legend Auctions is doing that Regency 44, and that's going to be at the Bellagio in Vegas. So if you guys are in town, go ahead and check it out. I believe they're doing a live exhibition of that one. Heritage is also doing a U.S. signature coin auction. That's one of their, more medium to large size auctions to kind of bridge the gap between Long Beach and the next big one. That one is going to be April 22nd to the 25th. All right, so we have those upcoming. This week, however, we're going to talk about all of the coin sales from Great Collections. Their organization puts out some pretty nice high quality listings week in, week out. So this week is no exception. Let's go ahead and start her off with the first coin. We got obviously this one's custom tailored for a registry set. I just want to let everybody know and forewarn you that grading what I call hyper moderns or anything post 1975 is not something that I would consider to be, a worthwhile endeavor. If and only if, your grading skills are like spot on, because the grading companies really do grade very, very strict on these hyper modern coins. So we have a 1998 Lincoln Memorial set. This one is a PCGS Mint State 69 red. I believe this is the top pop grade. There are no Mint State 70s of this particular coin. And it sold for $3,049.88. So as you could see, high risk, high reward. And that's what hyper modern grading is all about. Again, I don't recommend it, especially if you are a casual collector like myself. If you're doing it just to make money, I tell you what, it's going to be the most difficult thing that you've ever done, short of trying to win a lottery. All right. So the next one that we have here is a 1960D Lincoln Memorial cent. This one is the small date type. So you can see just the size of the top tail of that 6 is much shorter compared to the large date specimen of that same type. Compared to the 1998 that you saw previously, and this coin, I mean, you could just tell worlds apart. Just the difference in quality and the strike, and just the strength of all the devices. This one right here is a PCGS Mint State 67 Plus full red example. I believe this is the top grade. There are no 68s of this particular variety type in existence yet. Okay, and I use that loosely. This one sold for $3,830.62, which, again, this might fall outside of the hyper modern kind of range of dates of coins, but again, this is a coin that there's very little room for error. If you did not hit the top pop grade and it falls short, maybe a 66 plus or a 67, the coin will not be worth that much. So it just, by observing the actual price guide values of these coins at the highest grade and then examining the second lowest grade will help kind of like guide you in terms of, is this a hyper modern? Is this something that I should be, taking a gamble on? Because, submission fees are like $20-$30 a pop. All right. That's per coin, not per submission, where you like send out 100 coins. And it's like, oh, it's $30. No, it's per coin, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we're going to go back way further, okay? 1919D, Lincoln Wheat Cent. This one right here is probably kind of like that bridge date where the strike begins to look bad. All right, if you looked at the reverse of this coin, there's a lot of die deterioration on this coin, and that's normal. That's normal for 1919. And as you go into the 20s, you can even see it here in E Pluribus Unum. But in any event, this one is a PCGS Mint State 65 red. It's got a few carbon spots, but certainly it's fulfilled the percentage part of the full red requirements, and this one hit it home. Again, another registry set piece. I don't typically recommend some specific dates, like 1919 across the board, whether it's a Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco minted coin, are pretty well available in mid-state grades. May not be completely full red, but you could find a nice brown or red brown out there for a reasonable cost. This one right here sold for $1,462.50. And believe me, these can get a lot more pricier as the grades go up. All right, so we have a coin here that is, that's cemented as one of the iconic ones. It's the first day of the Lincoln cent. I was going to say Memorial. That's 59. But we have a 1909 VDB. So it's got the initials here on the reverse at the 6 o'clock K6 position there on the coin. This one right here is a PCGS Mint State 66 Plus full red. Now, the grade by itself is just a okay grade. It's a nice high-end grade. And that grade, it's relatively affordable. You can pick one up for under $200. However, this is a double die obverse, and I believe this one might be the 1102. You can see a lot more of the doubling in RTY in Liberty. There's an 1101 and an 1102. The 1102 is a little bit more valuable. Actually, it's quite a bit more valuable. Who am I joking? But the coin, as you see it here, displays a lot of what I like to call eye appeal. You do have kind of like a wood grainy effect all across the obverse and reverse of the coin, so it's a very attractive look to what we call wood grain collectors. But really, the big attribute that really pumped a lot of bidding into this coin is going to be that DDO. It's also CAC certified, by the way. This one sold for $5,310. Okay, so we're on to nickels. I'm going to tell you, we got a few pretty interesting ones in here. The couple of semi-new or the hyper moderns are going to, they're going to make your gain your attention. I can't even figure out the exact words I want to use, but we have a 1993 P. As you guys know, we probably still come across these and change in relatively high grades. Okay, so this one right here is a PCGS Mint State 67 plus full stepper. I don't need to say it again, but I'll say it one more time. Again, heed caution when you decide you want to send some of these out, because there's no safety net. If you don't hit the top grade, then you're going to lose out big. This one right here, obviously made for a registry set, like I had mentioned. It does notate some toning. There might be a little bit on there. It's not a whole lot to drive up the price based off of that factor. But this one did sell for $3,236.62. The good old $3,200 1990s Jefferson nickel. All right, all those words and numbers don't quite fit in the same sentence. It's a little bit outside the box for sure. And the same goes for this 1992D right here. PCGS Mint State 67 full stepper. You can just tell the difference in strike quality. You can see all of the metal flow and just the weakness in some of the devices on the reverse. During this time you did have a lot of die deterioration, machine doubling, that sort of thing. This one right here sold for $2,340. Here's another one right here, although this one looks a lot better than the 92 that we saw before based off of just strike alone. This is 78D, another Denver minted coin. And again, we have a Mint State 67 full stepper on this one. And this one sold for $1,245.38. All right, so again, these three coins made for registry sets. No one worth a salt or in their right mind would ever buy any of these as an investment. That's just really, really, really poor money managing. If you're going out to looking for investments, you don't usually buy these for that. The real money is being driven into this solely on the registry set activity. All right, so we're going to get into a few more of what I would consider to be the interesting coins. Okay, we have a 1948D Jefferson nickel. Of course, you guys know they moved the mint mark to the right of the base of Monticello. And this one is just a beauty all around. Now, this particular date is not rare to find in full steps. I own a few examples myself, ungraded, of course. And I could honestly say that this one right here wins the day just based solely on eye appeal. The toning is just stunning. It's light enough. It's not in your face with a bunch of like darks and blacks and that sort of thing where it's more terminal. This one right here is just a just pleasing eye appeal type coin. It is a Mint State 67 plus full stepper. Again, a really nice high-end grade. And this one sold for $2,758.50. If you were going to compare this one to that 1993 nickel we saw a few minutes ago, I mean, man, how can that 93 sell for so much more money than this one? But of course, it really depends on how tough those specific grades are for the respective dates. But anyways, if I had to choose, this one all day long. And the big topic of the video, in case you weren't watching the last, 10 Monday market reports since the beginning of the year, or however many that is, you've noticed I've talked about silver wartime nickels in every single one of those. Just about every single one. There might be, 30% of them that I haven't talked about a silver wartime. But we've seen a lot more interest in this kind of specialized mini subset, I guess. I was going to say 1 year type, but that really only applies to the 43 steel cent. And this also gets kind of like the brownie point factor because it's the only date range of nickels that had a different kind of really cool circumstance in terms of its history. They're all 35% silver manganese, compositions. And of course, the U.S. was rationing nickel, for the war efforts, and that's why we had a quick little substitute into this really cool composition right here. Now, we've seen a number of coins the last few months that have sold for $5,000, $8,000, $10,000. And right now, it just kind of dawned on me, looking at the couple war nickels that we have on tap here, that there is a lot more interest in this short series, and specifically some of the higher graded examples, all right? Because, this is one of those particular instances where you could buy it for a registry set, or you can invest in it because, just how special it is, how unique based off of the composition alone and its history. So this 45S right here is an NGC graded Mint State 67 Plus. This one has 5 full steps. 6 full steps, of course, is what's considered full steps by PCGS's standards. So this one is just a 5SFS. And this one sold for $1,946.25. And that's a pretty strong sale for coins that traditionally have really nice strikes. All right, so this one right here, not too bad. And because of the fantastic, composition makeup of these coins, with the silver, you also get some pretty gnarly looking toning. All right, so this is just another great example. Just the rainbows on the reverse of the coin is really what attracts a lot of buyers to coins like this. This one right here is a Mint State 67 full steps. I mean, that's impressive in itself. And this particular coin right here is also part of the Sunset collection. Okay, they're up to part 143 as of this last week. And this one sold for $2,643.75. Keep in mind, the high grade for a lot of these wartime silver nickels between 42 and 45 have reached Mint State 68 just because of how well struck a lot of the examples are. And the final nickel of the bunch is going to be one that I don't talk about that often. It's not a Type 2, where, a San Francisco minted 1913 Type 2 is indeed one of the top keys of the series. This is a Type 1, so you got the raised mound right here under 5 cents, but it is also the first date of Buffalo nickel. It's iconic for a number of reasons. So this one here is a San Francisco minted coin. It's a Type 1. It's also an NGC Mint State 67 Plus. But with all that, taken into consideration, all right, it is still a very nice, very desirable coin. This one sold for $4,148.70. A few kind of like general observations. There's some pretty good clashing on this coin. You can see part of E pluribus unum under his chin. You can also see a little bit of something here under that third feather, and then a few other little clash marks here in front of his forehead. And you can see it here under E pluribus. That's the neck crux area of the Indian, and then a few other areas as well. Just a really cool coin with a lot of character, and we're going to continue to see these coins go up in value. This is true Americana right here. When it comes to the actual series, this is one of the big ones. All right, we have a few dimes. We got 1960. Again, eye appeal is everything when it comes to these Roosevelt dimes, because outside of that, the series doesn't have nearly the amount of just interest among collectors. But this one right here is a PCGS Mint State 67 Plus full bands. It's an attractive coin with lots of original skin. This one right here is also another Sunset piece, and it's sold for $2,418.75. There's a couple very specific toning colors that people will pay the most amount of money for. And that's going to be your sapphire blues and your emerald greens, especially if you have a lot more full involvement over the coin. That's what people really love. All right, so this one right here is another great example of that. It's a 52S, and this one was graded NGC Mid-State 67. Also note, there's no full bands on here. All right, so this one is just a run-of-the-mill, just basic regular strike with the plus side on the toning. This one right here sold for $1,462.50, and it's also worth mentioning that this is in an older original holder. A 41 mercury dime is not a rare coin, especially a Philadelphia one. They're all pretty well struck, but this one right here is a Mid-State 67 full bands. Again, this is another NGC old holder type, and just a pleasing coin of this particular date. This one sold for $1,629, and usually this will be a registry set piece. All right, so this is a little bit tougher date. It is also San Francisco. So, you put a few of those things together, and then you have this one, which is a little bit extraordinary for what it is. It's a PCGS Mid-State 67 Plus full bands, 35S. It's also CAC certed, and this one sold for $2,362.50. All right, we have a few quarters. Now, this one here is an 83D, and it's also a really nice high-graded example. These are incredibly tough to find in anything above Mid-State 64. All right, the main reason is they didn't make any mid-sets for 83. So whatever mid-state examples are out there are going to be your just regular, well-preserved example from when it was first released, or maybe a BU roll or something to that effect. But this is a coin that you can't find in a mid-set. You're never going to, because they never made them. This one is a truly nice high-end grade. I believe 67 plus is the high top grade for a Denver 83. This one right here is sold for $1,113.75. All right, so this is my my love-hate relationship coin of the bunch. 69 Philadelphia, one of the most toughest dates to find. In 67, and especially 67 plus, which is, I believe, the new top pop for this. For the longest time, it was just 67. It's a date where you find a lot of issues, a lot of nicks and planchet marks and weak strikes, and the big one, the lack of luster. You don't see very good luster on these coins at all. This one right here sold for a nice $1,053. And the final coin of the bunch is going to be a really nice, incredibly tough date and mint Washington quarter. Now, San Francisco minted coins from any Washington quarter of the 1930s is going to set you back a fair amount of money if you're looking for like that Mid-State 66 or a 66 plus, or even something like this. They are considered to be kind of like along the same lines as San Francisco minted 1920s Lincoln sets. They're just tough to find with full luster. This one even has some pretty nice toning to it. Kind of like that splotchy watercolor type look. It's nice. 37S's, I can't remember the last time I've ever owned a mid-state example, only because the prices on these have started to creep up, even in raw condition. This one right here, again, is 67, sold for $3,087. Pretty strong money, although I've seen these go for a lot more, especially when you get up to like 67 plus. That's where all the money is poured into these. The registry for Washington quarters is very strong right now. All right. And across the board from 32 all the way up to current date, even the statehood quarters and national parks are getting some love in this market, especially for the top pops. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to go ahead and do it for this MMR for the week ending April 3rd. We are a few days into April, so I hope everyone had a great time on this video. And most importantly, hopefully you guys have a wonderful, very easy Monday. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think spring break is over for a lot of people out there, or maybe you haven't had yours yet. But yeah, it's time to get back to business as usual. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that good old bell for instant notifications. Coinaholics, we're discovering together. I will see you on the next video. You guys take care and have a good day.